Hey Aquarius, what's up? We are here with a timeless reading. Welcome. My name is Gabriella for anybody new tuning in. Alright, we are starting off first with the Hanged Man. Starting with the Hanged Man can show a time when sort of sitting and thinking about things and having a period of reflection can be helpful. What is going to happen if you do this can mean that something that you could feel like, I got this all figured out, or maybe is something missing here, I want to understand it, am I seeing the whole thing? Being in the time of the Hanged Man, it's going to help you see anything that you may not be seeing, and that's why this can be helpful. So if there's like a perspective that's no longer the most like true perspective for you to have, or the most accurate perspective for you to have, it can be a time when you can surrender old perspectives in order to gain maybe a more full, well-rounded understanding of something. Neptune is also connected with like energetics and our spiritual understanding of things, so there can even be like a deeper psychology behind something. Hanged Man is also a time as well where if there's anything that you are currently holding on to that's obsolete in whatever form it may be in, it can be a time of surrender, but only to usher in a new, more precise energy, something that would feel more accurate to you. Neptune also can suggest too that not everything is as it seems, so if you're in a situation and it doesn't feel like completely straightforward, Neptune can definitely be part of this as well. And it can mean that there's going to be more that will unfold essentially. Looks like this is happening on like a spiritual, emotional level. Psychology can be involved in this as well. I'm seeing Queen of Cups. So it looks like stuff from your past is coming up. But this can be a time of reframing, actually. So if there's any stuff from your past that's lingering that you're holding on to, where you're checking in, I feel like belief systems are part of this too. If you're looking back at any stuff from your past and you're like, is this belief that I'm holding on to hindering me or is it benefiting me? There can be stuff along the lines of that would potentially be surrendered here or released here, but only for like a new understanding of things. This isn't like, forget this altogether, like let me run away from this altogether. Well, I mean, that can actually be something that happens with Neptune, but this is more so like if you use Neptune in a high frequency way, what's going to happen is that you may have some like old narratives or old framework or old perspectives, and there can be stuff that you're going to basically like update to where you are right now with the knowledge that you have in order to like apply sort of where you are now within your understandings of things and sort of reframe things in a new framework that you have currently. Because there can be stuff that happened and you had a certain take on it at that point in time when it happened, and now with everything, with like how much you've grown now and everything that you understand now and how you're vibrating now, you know, it can be a very different perspective that you're in. This can be a time when you're like, okay, it's like reframing a picture essentially, and it's going to give a different context to things. That doesn't mean that that old perspective wasn't valid, because it was, because that's what you had to frame things with at that point in time. But now moving into the present moment, you can be working with some other stuff, and so that can be like an added layer now of things and your understanding. So there can be even like different planes that you're perceiving this from or through, and they can be sort of stacked on top. It doesn't have to be like, I have to either have this perspective or that one. It can sort of be a layering process to give something more depth and you more understanding and context as well, especially as far as your journey goes. You can be making peace with some things too, is what this is looking like to me. It feels like past stuff that you're making peace with. Ooh. All right. So this isn't just in the, I'm hearing phenomenal space. This isn't just in an intangible space. I'm seeing something going on with you and another person here, like relationship or relationships. This is somebody you either knew in the past or that you've known for a long time. Not a new person. You've had stuff go on between you and this person. Okay. Using past situations as a frame of reference, this can also be understanding your feelings about things as a frame of reference for sort of like where you stand now. And I think too that there can be an undressing of having the Hierophant here next to Neptune. This can mean that if there are any belief systems, if there are any values that you could feel at this point like you're sort of upgrading your value system, essentially, is what this is feeling like. But there can also be things that you're seeing where you're like, wow, I've become really rigid with that, to the point where you can look at something and be like, is this actually benefiting me now? Or is it something that's actually holding me back to hold on to things or to see things in that way? And that doesn't mean, again, that perspective is not valid, like it's valid in itself, but the bigger question can be, is that something that's like adding to my life? Is it benefiting me? Or if I hold on to that, which you can if you want to, is it something that's actually not allowing me to explore further like my potential and my ability to be present and connect and go deeper within my heart space? Talking about the heart space because I'm seeing Queen of Cups here. So this can even be old beliefs that are associated with, it can be relationships in general, it can be a specific relationship. I'm wondering too if some of you from like a spiritual context, you're now looking at something, you know, like from a higher point of view, looking back and looking at something and be like, I'm seeing some deeper implications here. Feels centered around a relationship. This is looking like someone's coming through to connect with you. I am seeing Seven of Swords on the bottom of the deck. Just want to put that out there. Having Knight of Wands come out and having Seven of Swords come out, it can be sort of a bit of a warning where it can say that there's an energy that's going to be coming through. They're going to want to connect with you. I feel like having Neptune, starting off having Neptune here is very important because it can mean that if you want to project onto the situation, it's possible to do that. However, if you're really being honest with yourself, you're not going to be deluding yourself into thinking something is other than what it is. But Neptune sort of creates a fertile ground for you to project onto and then think like, this is what I'm planting here with this person, and then something else entirely is what grows out of the soil. I'm seeing Virgo, I'm seeing Gemini, and I'm seeing Taurus here. So there can also be illusion that's connected with this, that's tied with this. Feels like something from your past is resurfacing. There is potential for you to, it seems like, reconnect. Some of you even reconciling, if that would be appropriately fitted to your situation. You've been learning a lot, I feel, about your standards and your values now presently where you are, and this can be something that this is sort of bringing up more of that for you, an understanding of those things. So it feels like a lot of learning. It feels too like for some of you there may be somewhere specifically that you've been getting guidance from. This can be like, now there's a certain type of spirituality that I'm into, or I've been reading these texts, or there's like a podcast that I've been listening to that's really helpful. Having Hierophant and having Page of Swords is feeling like you may have somebody or something that it has become a guide. It can be nature, you know, it can really be anything. something that's like formed itself in the essence of a guide for you, and it can be sort of guiding you through things spiritually and emotionally. And this feels like something or someone that you've been learning a lot from, and they can be dispelling things for you too, where you can be seeing the true nature of things and a true alignment and understanding of things. I do feel like in essence, like your spirituality is somewhat tied within this, but I'm using that term loosely here. Now, so you have that stuff going on, right? And there can be things too where you're seeing difference between what may not be reality, but things that I may want or see as ideal versus what is more concretely happening, and seeing and deciphering the difference between those things. Because you know, sometimes like with Neptune, what can happen is that we get in situations with people and it's like, I want you to be like this. And so every time I see you doing something that doesn't align with that, even though you're showing me who you are or where you are in the space, I'm gonna pretend I didn't see that, and I'm just gonna like reframe it, but in a way that's inaccurate. And then we end up being super disappointed because it's like, this whole time I thought that they were this person, and then it ends up being something very different. But the whole time our stomach aches because we've known all along in that deeper part of our gut. So it can be those types of things that happen with this energy. And there can also be some like reworking that's happening too, where maybe in the past there were certain values or certain things that you placed importance on, and maybe now you're in a place where you're realizing that there's some other things that are important for you, or some different things that are important for you. Now, that being said, I'm seeing in the middle of this, it looks like a relationship is coming into focus. And it seems too like there is potential for you to enter into a situation with this person. But I'm seeing Knight of Wands be connected with this, which means that this is something that you could perceive as being an impulsive move on your part. You can also feel too that if Knight of Wands is the other person, they can sort of come through in a very like bold way. It can even feel I'm tripping over my words here. It can feel kind of like, it can feel flamboyant in the way that this person comes through, sort of like a bold way that they enter the scene. It can feel like a very heaviness of the person's presence, like, hey, I'm here, like that type of thing. Yeah, that's what I'm seeing for the energy. But I was seeing Knight of Wands when it came out. I was also seeing Seven of Swords on the bottom of the deck, which means that if you don't think this through, you may do something or base your perspective off of something that's not actually true for you, or something that doesn't actually align with you, and then you do something and you're like, why didn't I think about that longer? It can be like that type of thing. And I do feel like this person is coming through and wanting to connect with you. Seeing Virgo, Gemini, Taurus here. So this feels like potentially before you maybe step into a scenario with this person, having Hermit feels like making sure that you would know what you're signing up for and not deluding yourself into thinking that it's something other than it is. Because starting with Hanged Man and ending with Hermit is like, what am I maybe not seeing about this that I need to see? And does this actually align with my deeper values? And does that constitute a current connection? Can also look at something and feel like maybe in the past it was something for you, but what about now, presently? Is that going to be something for you? I'm definitely seeing you be a bit curious, but I also feel too like there's more of a, I'd rather have guidance than be lied to here about what this is. And I do feel like this can be bringing to light maybe some unrealized like fantasies that you've had about something. Now this is an opportunity where you can be like, is this my dreams coming true? And is that actually something that's happening? Or is this a moment where there's a deeper sense of honesty that you can have sort of with yourself, and you can be seeing things that you're not necessarily seeing? Because this is feeling like one of those situations where maybe it's really ideal the way that you're approached, but if you look more deeply behind it, you can feel like not all of it is, it's not like gold all the way through, essentially. I do feel like in the past you could have felt very connected with this person. Like you could have felt like you stood for the same things, or there were even like cultural idiosyncrasies, something like that. You being in charge of creating what you want and manifesting from the most pure heart space as you are capable of. I do get the sense that this brings up things emotionally for you. I will say, oh, all right, I'm seeing 10 of Swords and I'm seeing 2 of Swords here. Ending with 2 of Swords is going to help you see what you need to see here in order to inform you of what to do. There is a possibility to connect with this person I'm seeing. Like, what's come to fruition is a possibility for you to connect with this person. This can be like, we get together, or we can connect, or we can hang out with each other. It's something like that where you have the opportunity to do that. But having Neptune and having 2 of Swords feels like you want to really spend time thinking about this, because having Neptune here can show that you may not be seeing everything. So there can be a part of you that if you're hasty with this, you can do something and then be like, I didn't have all the information when I did that or made that choice. And it's something to pay attention to. So you're not doing something that then you're like, well, I didn't really think that through and I did it, and now I have to deal with this because it wasn't something that I was thinking about, you know? I'm seeing us end with you in a position where you're gonna have to take action in some way, even if it's inaction, but action is going to need to be taken. It's just being guided that rather than handling this hastily and moving forward without thinking about it, to really spend time thinking about, like, what would this mean? What would I be signing up for? Is there anything that I need to check back within myself about to make sure that I have an accurate perspective of this? Because I do again feel like there's something going on with like Neptune's energy within this instance, and it feels like it can have you believing maybe that something is other than what it actually is. And I will say this too, in the past, this could have been something that you wanted and something that could have resonated with you, or you felt would resonate with you previously, but now where you are, will it actually resonate with you on a deeper level? You know too that if things fall into place, you don't have to rush them, but it's usually when there's this, like, I need to be hasty, I have to do this really quick, I have to respond fast. It's like, I feel like that can be a sign sometimes that if it's going to be like, this is my only chance, or like it's all or nothing here in this, I feel like that energy kind of speaks of itself, that it's a bit of an ungrounded energy and something to check in about. Also too, seems like maybe coming down to the bottom line is, if you enter into the space with this person, is it going to feel balanced? Is it going to be the type of relationship that you would want, where you feel like I'm appreciated and I'm valued and I'm like loved, or I'm seen how I want to be seen, whatever, I'm recognized for the things I want to be recognized, or I'm like encouraged to grow, or whatever it means to you, like whatever would have meaning for you and make it worth it to be connecting with someone, or those things present. Some of you, this can be somebody that you had like, I'm seeing a couple different things. Some of you, this can be like an old friendship that you had. Some of you, it can be something more than that. But it does feel like a lot happened just with you and this other person, sort of regardless of the history that you had with them. When you are in a place of full and absolute truth with yourself, you will not feel divided on anything. So if you're still feeling divided on this, where you're like, I don't know what to decide, like, do I go this way or do I do that, or what do I do? It's because you're not in a place of full truth with yourself. So, or you're not seeing everything yet. When you're in a place where you're seeing everything and you're in full truth with yourself, you will not feel split. It won't be the Two of Swords, it'll be the Ace of Swords for you. So it feels like it's about bringing that into, like, pulling everything together here. Because Two of Swords is just based on like a duality, and when it's integrated, it becomes the Ace of Swords, and that's going to be like the absolute epiphany, clarity, understanding of this. Okay? So if you're feeling split, it can mean like, where am I still not in total honesty with myself? That's something that can be presenting itself, and especially to begin with Neptune and to end with Two of Swords. Neptune, which can be, it can be an illusion, or it can be something that's like a half-truth, or it can be something that we're not fully admitting to ourselves yet. That's what can be creating the, like, instead of having an Ace of Swords, it's splitting into two, where it's like there's this perspective and there's that one, but there's only ever one truth. And so if you are in a place of full truth and seeing things clearly, you're not going to feel split. You will know exactly how to move through this and what to do here, because you'll be seeing everything clearly. All right? And you'll know how to proceed. All right, everybody, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I'm sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.